Hey guys, what is up? Author Michaela Jade here. So it's another Friday night. We are doing tidbits and scribbles. So first I want to say I'm a proud part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, which includes all kinds of different shows, all kinds of different people. Just one of the things I love about it. Nothing is the same. Nothing is you're not going to find the same thing on my show as you'll find on Nick's show. Or the same thing on Nick's show that you'll find on Brian's show. So check them all out. They are amazing. All right, so first things first, places to find me. The first thing coming up is Indie Author Book Expo at the Civic Center, May 29th. That is a one-day show. It's free to get in, so get your butt there, bring your friends. You will see me. I will have all of my books. I will have Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, Warrior's Worth, and I will have the Linnea Fletcher book, Obsidian Hearts. So get there, get your books, get them signed. So then the next opportunity to see me is also in Peoria, Illinois, is June 5th, down at Detweiler Park. If you know the area, you know where Detweiler Park is. If not, reach out to me. I'll get you directions. Detweiler Park is vast. So I'm not sure where they're doing it's basically a arts and crafts show. My daughter will be there with her artwork. I'll be there with my books. It's going to be a huge deal. So then the next thing is June 19th. That's my biggest one. That is Wild Deadwood Reads out in Deadwood, South Dakota. So if you are anywhere near Deadwood, South Dakota, June 19th, get your butt there. It's going to be a good time. The whole town is doing a big shindig, and so there's all kinds of stuff going on. So Deadwood, South Dakota is the place to be June 19th. Okay, so the next thing then will be, as far as I know, Heroes for Kids Con, July 17th, is still going on in Perryville, Missouri. I will be there. One thing I forgot was Peoria Con, October 2nd. So I'm trying to do more quad cons. And as I fill the calendar with those, I will let you guys know. But for right now, this is where it stands. So Peoria Con, October 2nd at Expo Gardens. So another Peoria, Illinois area. This is as close to home as it will get. So to see me, you're going to see me a lot around the central Illinois area, but Peoria is as close as it gets. So come see me at either Expo Gardens, Detweiler Park, the Civic Center, Northwoods Mall. I've been a couple times, and I'll probably be there a couple more times. So there's opportunities. You just got to come to my area until I can get to you. All right, so let me jump into what I wanted to cover. A lot of new authors have asked me, where did you get your information? How did you come across all this information? What do I do? Where do I go? So the first place that I look for writer advice or how-tos on writing or just even motivation, YouTube. We're here. Everything is on YouTube that I've needed so far. But that starts with Google. Whatever it is that you're needing, whether it's advice, motivation, a certain command for Microsoft Word or Google Docs, or whatever techie problem you have, type it into Google. It will be somewhere, whether it's a video, whether it's an article explaining it, it will be there. I promise, Google is your friend. The next place that I go is my publisher's website. So my first book, Warrior's Secret, was published by the Wild Rose Press. Their website alone has got tons of stuff. They even have, I don't know if you can get to, if you're not an author with them, but they have podcasts. So I'm sure they're on YouTube as well. They've got podcasts, they've got articles, and they're not just a publisher in the traditional sense. They are kind of a hybrid. If you just want them to do your book cover, if you just want them to publish your book, you've got your book cover, you've got it edited, you just need them to do the publishing part, they will do that. So they're calling themselves a hybrid publisher, which, hey, whatever. If that's your cup of tea, go for it. They are good people. I can say that. The head honcho of the place is Rhonda Penders. And that woman is awesome. Any problem that I had, I went right to Rhonda and I said, hey, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to fix? Help. And within 24 hours, I had an email from her, and she fixed the problem every time. So the Wild Rose Press is a trusted one. Yes, they're a small press. They're not Penguin Random House, but they're a good one. I promise. Okay, so the next place I've got is I use Word or I use Google Docs. Now, I use Word mostly because when you buy a computer that isn't an Apple, Word comes with it, some form of Word, whether it's Microsoft Office or just the Word Perfect program. So that's what I've used. That's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with. If you're more comfortable with Google Docs, have at it. Use Google Docs. If you're more comfortable with Scrivener on Apple, use Scrivener. There is nothing anywhere that says that you must use this or that to then go to a publisher and say, hey, will you publish my book? Now, each publisher is going to have guidelines as to what they want. Like my publisher, one of the things that threw me was you couldn't have any italics anywhere in the manuscript. Don't send that in. And I thought, now, what if I want to describe something, but it needs to be in italics to define it from something else? Well, you can have italics, but it can't be. Some people will send in their whole manuscript and it will be in italics. Don't do that. So each publisher has their own little set of guidelines and rules. So it would behoove you to check that stuff out before you ever send them anything. The Wild Rose Press has it right on their website. Here's what we're looking for. Here's what we want. Here's how you format it before you send it to us. So do your research or they're just going to reject it. It will save you time, headache, and heartache. I promise. Another thing I use is Grammarly. Again, my first introduction to Grammarly was because it came with my computer. Since then, I've looked it up, and it's pretty damn good software. So you can look it up. You can download it. You can buy the premium package of all of this stuff that I'm going to tell you about, but you don't have to. You can get the basics for free. If Grammarly doesn't jive with you, there are other programs out there like Grammarly. Okay, so then another website I use or reference a lot is iWriterly. You can find her on her website. The girl that runs that is Meg Latour, and she's got a ton of advice. And if she doesn't have it, one of her friends has it, or she can find it, or you're going to find a link on her website to whatever it is that you need. Then the next one I've got for you is Writer's Digest. And don't worry about writing these all down, guys. I will put them in the comments of this video when it's all said and done. I'll get in there and put all this info in. So Writer's Digest is the next one. That one not only has advice, motivation, it has contest, it has grants, it has information on branding, information on marketing, anything that you need as a writer, as an aspiring writer, it's going to be on Writer's Digest. Writer's Digest is even a magazine, as you might guess. They're a magazine. They are online. They run contests. They are affiliated with all kinds of different things. The next thing I have for you is, now this one costs, but it's Skillshare. I personally bought into Skillshare because I wanted to hone my craft. I wanted to be just a little bit better than I could get with all the free stuff that is out there. Because trust me, I've scoured it. I have scoured it again and again and again. And yes, they come up with new content, but a lot of it I felt like was kind of rehashed. It was written a different way, but it's the same information. So for me, I needed something that was just a bit more. So I looked into Skillshare and Masterclass because I heard a lot of good things about Masterclass, and there was a lot of big names on Masterclass. And so I thought, wow, that's who I want to learn from. You know, some of the authors they have on there, Neil Gaiman, Margaret Atwood, Rick Riordan. Those are some pretty big names. So you figure they've probably got some good information for you. Not for my budget, they don't. So So I picked Skillshare instead of Masterclass. Now, that doesn't mean that one day I won't do Masterclass. I will. I absolutely will. But at this point in my career, it's not happening. So I've got Skillshare, and I am just like a sponge, just absorbing everything that I can from Skillshare. There's no limit to the classes you can take. There's no limit to the classes that they have. It's all creatives teaching other creatives. Okay, so the next thing is something that I found it a while ago. But your community college, wherever you're located, there's a community college nearby. Lots of them have what they call either adult education. It depends on how they classify it. Either it's adult education classes or community classes, where for a fee of anywhere from like $30 to $130, whatever it is, depending on the class, there's a small fee, but then you get to take this class on creative writing, marketing. Some of them have classes on the WordPerfect program. Some of them have classes on Google Docs. Some of them have classes on just computers in general, if you're not a techie person. So there's always places to find these classes. If you're not techie enough to find on your local community college's website, call them up and ask them. I promise you, there's somebody there that will be able to tell you, yes, we have those type of classes, or no, we don't. Or we don't have those type of classes, but we offer this class that would teach you Excel or Word or Google Docs or whatever. If it's something like you have grandkids or you have nieces and nephews that they know Google Docs backwards and forwards, ask them to teach you. Ask them to take a half hour. Throw them $20. Ask them to teach you. Say, listen, I'll give you $20. You stand here and you show me how to work this. And then you know you've got somebody when something messes up and you're like, what did I do? I pushed the button. I pushed the wrong button, apparently. How do I fix this? Go to the teenagers. A lot of them are using Google Docs instead of Word, instead of all the stuff that we knew about. To us, Google Docs is new. To them, Google Docs is the only thing they've ever used. So reach out to your surrounding, to your family, to your friends. Ask them, hey, I've got a question on this, or I need help on marketing. You'd be surprised who knows. Let's see, another one of the places that I go is jerryjenkins.com. I never ever knew who Jerry Jenkins was. And I had an aunt who said, oh, you're a writer, you should check out Jerry Jenkins. And I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him before. Apparently this dude has written a plethora of books. I had no idea. So don't throw out advice that a random, for like me, one of my aunts said. I had no idea. And so I put it off and I put it off. I don't need that yet. I don't need that yet. Now I found his website and I'm like, ooh, why didn't I do this before? So don't discount people that maybe they're not a writer, but they've heard of a website or a writer or an author or whoever. Just check it out. It would do you good. Just take 5-10 minutes, check it out. Okay. Another one I've got, I haven't checked this one out, but I hear a lot about it, is called LitHub. LITHUB, LitHub. So check that out. It's a website all about writing, all about writers. Another one is The Creative Pen by Joanna Penn. She also has a gazillion books out. And she runs the Creative Pen website. She's got advice. She's got motivation. She's awesome. She and Meg Latour did an interview or chat. And that's how I stumbled onto thecreativepen.com, because Joanna runs that. I met her through Megan, or met her, you know. The last place I've got for you guys is The Right Life, WRITE. The Right Life is a website that also is a wealth of information. There's all kinds of info on it, but depending on what you need will depend on where you need to look and what you're looking for. Every one of them has a search bar. Search, you know, type in what you need, search it. You'll find it. But all of these are places that go to first. Don't necessarily bug the only writer you have in your life, or if you've got 2 or 3 writer friends or whatever, and this is something that most writers know, or you think that most writers know the answer to this question. Google it, YouTube it, look it up. And then when you say, okay, well, I still don't understand, but I read that article or I watched that YouTube video, then go to a writer friend and say, hey, I had this particular question, not this vast, broad question. Because a lot of times we're going to have to research a broad question too, or we're going to question you on, let's narrow that down. What are you really asking? So take it upon yourself, find these websites, find these resources, and then reach out to a writer, to a creative friend and say, you know, I was researching this and I'm having trouble finding the answer to my question. And they may send you a completely different way from the direction you were going or thinking that you should look. So Google it first, YouTube it, then check all these websites out. And like I said, I'll list them in the bottom of this video in the comments and stuff. So never ever think that there's not an answer out there. If it's not from your writer friend or your author friend, it's out there. They just don't know it yet. So look them up. Ask me, put it in the comments, whatever you want to do. And so I think I will end this broadcast here because we're having so much fun this Friday. If you haven't noticed, check out my Facebook page. And since you're on my YouTube channel, ring the bell or you won't know when I do this again. But catch me here next Friday. Same time, same place. I'll see you on the flip-flop.